So, what's the real secret to being truly great at sales? I'll tell you right now, it's not some magic charm or just raw charisma. It's a method. Today, we're going to break down the sales process and turn it from a chaotic art form into a science you can actually repeat. We're going to give you the tools to go from feeling all over the place to feeling totally in control. Let's dive in. So here's our game plan. First, we'll establish that sales really isn't magic, it's a method. Then, we'll map out the whole journey using something called the sales funnel. After that, we'll get into the psychology of decoding the key decision makers you have to win over. And then, we'll learn how to spot the risks and, just as importantly, how to play to your strengths. We'll wrap it all up with what might be the most important part, the mindset of win or learn.
All right, let's kick things off with the absolute core principle. Great sales performance? It's forged in preparation, long before you're ever in the room making a presentation. The real work, the stuff that actually matters, begins way before you shake a single hand.
You know, you have to wonder, what really separates the good from the great? It's definitely not a flashier pitch or a more expensive suit. The true masters, the ones who consistently deliver, they set themselves apart with a disciplined, methodical approach that starts long before that first meeting ever gets on the calendar.
And the answer is actually pretty straightforward. It's all about the plan. See, elite selling isn't just winging it. It's a carefully planned interaction, almost like a dance, where every single step is thought out ahead of time. It's about you taking control of the process instead of just reacting to whatever comes your way. And it all begins right here, with profiling. Seriously, this part is non-negotiable. You have to become an expert on your prospect. You need to understand what motivates them, what their biggest headaches are, and exactly how their company works. This information, this intelligence, that's the foundation that every single successful deal is built on. Okay, so once you've done your homework and you have that solid foundation, it's time to actually map out the journey ahead. And honestly, the most powerful tool you have for this is the sales funnel. Think of it as a clear roadmap that's going to take you from a total stranger to a trusted partner. So what is a sales funnel? Just think of it like a GPS for your deal. It's this fantastic visual guide that breaks down what can feel like a super complicated process into clear, manageable stages. It gives you clarity and control every step of the way, right from that first hello to the final handshake. Now this visual right here, it tells such a crucial story about the reality of sales. You start by casting a really wide net, let's say 100 prospects at the top. But as you move down through the funnel, you're not just losing people. No, you're qualifying them. See, the goal isn't to drag everyone to the bottom. It's to make sure the right ones make it to the finish line. So let's look at the key stages of engagement. It all kicks off with that initial call, just to get your foot in the door and secure that first meeting. From there, the first and second interviews are all about deep discovery, finding their pain points and tailoring your solution. And finally, the whole process leads up to the closing meeting, which is where all your hard work and preparation pays off. Every single stage is a critical milestone. But let's be real for a second about the investment. We're looking at 265 hours of focused, strategic work to guide those prospects through the funnel. It's a marathon, not a sprint. This takes real effort.
And what's the return on that huge investment of time? 10 clients. From that initial pool of 100 prospects, you land 10. That's a 10% conversion rate. This is the reality of a well-run sales process. It really is a numbers game. And when you have a solid method, you're the one in control of the outcome.
Okay, so we've got our map, the funnel. But now we need to understand the terrain. And what that really means is understanding the people. Because in any complex sale, you are never, ever dealing with just one person.
Your success, your failure, it all hinges on your ability to navigate what's called the decision-making unit. And trust me, this isn't just a simple list of contacts. It's a complex web of different influencers, and each one has their own priorities, their own agenda. Your job is to understand all of them and get them aligned.
So who exactly is in this room? Well, first, you've got the user, the person who's actually going to use your product day to day. They care about functionality. Then you have the economic influencer who's all about the bottom line and the budget. And finally, there's a technical influencer, the one who's going to scrutinize every single detail to make sure it works. You absolutely need a different strategy for each one.
Now, it's not just about who they are. It's about figuring out where they stand on your proposal. You'll find some people are proactive. They're your champions, actively helping you out. Others will be neutral, just objectively weighing the options, and then you'll have the negating folks, the ones who are resistant and pushing back. The real key is to spot these attitudes early so you can adapt your strategy on the fly.
All right,
Once you've got a clear picture of the players on the field and their positions, you can start to read the game board. You can begin identifying both the hidden threats and the golden opportunities in your deal.
Throughout this whole process, you're constantly doing this balancing act between risk and reward. On one hand, you're always on the lookout for risk alerts. Those are the red flags that are telling you, hey, maybe you need to pivot here. And on the other hand, you're identifying and leveraging your strengths. Those are the unique advantages, the things that make you different, that are ultimately going to carry you to the finish line.
So, you've run the gauntlet. You planned, you've pitched, you've navigated all the internal politics, and the deal is finally done. But hold on, this isn't the end. In fact, what you do next is what truly separates the absolute pros from the amateurs.
The deal is done. The natural instinct is to either break out the champagne or, if it went badly, to just bury it and try to forget it ever happened. But the best salespeople, they fight that instinct. They know that the real work, the work that makes them better, is just beginning.
The process is not over until you've debriefed. I can't stress this enough. The single most important habit for long-term sustainable success is to document the lessons you learned from every single deal, whether you won or you lost. This is how you turn raw experience into true expertise. This is how you build a formula for success you can use again and again.
So here's your playbook for that post-deal analysis. When you win, it's not enough just to celebrate. You have to dig in and understand exactly what led to that success so you can do it again. And when you lose, a deep, honest analysis of what went wrong is the best insurance you have against making the same mistake twice. This discipline, this is the engine of continuous improvement. So I'll leave you with this one final question to think about. Is your sales process designed purely for closing deals, or is it designed for learning? Because while closing deals is great, it pays the bills this quarter, a deep commitment to learning is what's going to ensure you're still winning deals a decade from now. The choice is yours.